In his quote, in fact, from June 10th on that show, Beck's at least, he stated, and I quote, "The information that we have at this point is that this guy," of course he's referring to von Brunn, "is a hero to the 9/11 Truthers movement." Now, there's nothing that he could have provided or would have been provided, and there's nothing by my research that suggests that allegation can be upheld. And he continues back with it and runs on again with a quote, and I'll say, he said, the early reports.
Well, stay there. But I want to get this right. Is it von Brunn or von Brunn?
I've got von Brunn, B-R-U-N-N.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Okay, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Finally in the news this evening, it's being reported that cyber spies from Russia and China have now penetrated our power grid. Even as energy experts are reporting that each summer we get closer and closer to the limits of our nation's power grid, some say that this summer's demand for electrical power may finally push the grid over its edge, creating a cascade of power outages across the country, putting us all in the dark.
Are you prepared for the next round of storm-related outages or government-created blackouts? Have you ever thought about taking steps to get off the grid and generate your own private supply of electrical power? If so, this will be the most important information you have ever heard. Solar-powered generators are finally available. They have no moving parts to wear out or break and require absolutely no gas whatsoever. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Check out mysolarbackup.com before you lose your power.
Keep your foot hard on the pedal. Son, never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out, cause we got a run to make. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and we'll bring it back no matter what it takes. Eastbound and down.
All right, Gregory Hoover. Hoover versus Beck.com. Just put a VS between Hoover and Beck. Appreciate you spending time with us. Okay, so in closing, going out to break there, you're saying you're being persecuted, and clearly we are. Isn't it suspect that they kept saying we're white supremacists, we're going to attack, when none of that had happened for years? And he'd say, mark my words. I love America. I'm Glenn Beck. It's going to happen. And then magically it happens.
And well, this goes back to his other quote earlier in the same program where he said, one of the things that I've been warning about for a very, very long time are these 9/11 truthers. They've been waiting for an opportunity for something along these lines to occur, so that they attempt to try to pin
the week before that, he was saying that 9/11 truthers and people and militias were working for the Muslims with anthrax and we're going to kill 300,000. And he said, I've been warning you a long time about this unholy alliance. Absolutely. Let's turn to our resident. I mean, made up baloney. Go ahead.
Well, it's gotten to the point now that there's no stretch of the imagination too far for him to reach to attempt to try to clothe us in disparaging ways, such that there will be an automatic warding off of those who might otherwise be attracted to the movement.
That'd be like I said, don't watch Glenn Beck. Don't watch Glenn Beck because, he's a child molester, and I don't have any proof of that. I'm just saying it. See, and that's not true, folks. I'm just using that as a hypothetical example. But with him, he's saying
that allegation. But
but with him, he's really throwing that out there that we're basically Nazis, and then not saying it's not true. He's putting it out there to damage us. So where does this suit go?
Well, there's several things that we're seeking in this suit, among which I'm seeking a temporary and permanent injunctions against his attempting to try to defame us along these group statuses. I'd like to attempt to try to provide an FCC guideline with regard to these sorts of statements and a standard that I think can benefit defamation cases along these lines. I think one of the greatest things that can come of this is that the media attention that this case is now garnering is one which will be recognized not only by those who are already associated and familiar with the 9/11 movement, but by virtue of the fact that it will attach itself, inherently to Glenn Beck and his followers. It's going to expose them to the information that they otherwise would otherwise be hidden from the other side of the.
Now you sound like a lawyer, or are you a lawyer?
No, I'm a CLA. I've been in the legal profession 20 years. I write appellate briefs for attorneys.
Okay, good. So basically, you're the guy that does the work for the attorneys.
When your high-powered attorney tells you that he's going to have that memorandum brief or what have you prepared and filed tomorrow morning, I'm actually the guy working it out. I've worked for firms large and small for about the last 2 decades here, yes.
Well, a better analogy of what Beck's doing is if there was a big bank robbery and a jail guard got shot or a bank guard got shot, and then I went on the radio and said, you know, I don't have any proof of this, but we're getting evidence that Glenn Beck thought this guy that killed the bank guard was a hero. Glenn Beck would sue me, and rightfully so, because there's no connection to the, bank robber and Glenn Beck. I mean,
absolutely. And something interesting when you said, well, that it would seem at this point. You'll notice on that broadcast of June 10th, if you'll run the tape that's now all over YouTube, that repeatedly he uses the term that the early reports suggest. Any attempts to try to throw in his own personal...
It shows he knows he's lying. It shows
Absolutely, because later on he can come back and say, well, these were early reports that came in from sources that he now can't verify.
Okay, in closing, where does this go? Where does the suit go?
This suit goes into the Middle District Federal Court of the Orlando Division. We're looking for a class action status, which I believe we'll be able to gain certification of. We're looking at this point, we recognize, of course, we're going to be up against heavy legal opposition from the Fox team. So we're looking to put together what I'd consider the legal dream team, which is why I've put up the hoover-beck.com site. We're looking for donations to be able to support the effort. We think that during the course of our gaining a remedy and presenting this challenge to Beck and Fox News to shut them down as best we can, and certainly not let Glenn Beck back a notch, we'll be able to gain recognition for the movement.
Well, he is assaulting us with lies, trying to hurt us and trying to defame our free speech. And I appreciate what you're doing, and we'll stand behind you and get reports as it unfolds. Gregory Hoover, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's been an honor speaking with you.
Honor to speak with you. We'll be right back with your calls and a ton of news. 30 minutes left in transmission. Keep it locked in.